Howdy, guys, and welcome to night 76 of the Overnight Feeds recap for Big Brother Season 24. And welcome to Cliff Notes. A good Wednesday to y'all. Normally, we'd be having an episode tonight, a Big Brother episode. No, that's not the case. No episode this evening. Instead, we'll have our live eviction episode tomorrow night. I'm so ready for it. All right, I got a little story for you, and I got time to do it with this recap. I got a little story for you. I'm a huge fan of The Walking Dead. Love the series. My favorite show for a while there. Watched it for so many seasons. Last couple of seasons though, not so good. In fact, it's been pretty bad. But you know what? I still watch those episodes every Sunday when they come on because I've invested so much time into it. I'm going to see it through to the very end, no matter how bad it gets. Well, I'm kind of feeling the same way about these live feeds. It was a slow night last night. I mean, a slow night. We had some conversations, but they were drawn out. There was a whole lot of napping and everything else going on. I'm so ready for tomorrow night. Let's get it down to the final three. I'm happy that we don't have a full week of just three people before we get to the finale, which is going to be on Sunday night. We're getting to the end. We need to be there. There's no more that can be done at this point. We know, as a refresher, we've got Brittany and Turner on the block. Monte making the decision. Brittany's tried everything she can. It's not working. Monte is going to send Brittany to the jury house tomorrow night. Then it's going to be the final three. There's not that much more strategy involved with that at that point either. It's whoever wins these last couple of competitions who gets to decide who they want to take to the final two with them. Now, once we get there, it could be a little interesting, especially if Monte wins this thing. Does he take Taylor? Does he take Turner? We'll talk about that when that happens, if it happens. But until then, it's just really slowed down in the house. But as I said, I'm going to see it through to the very end. And those of you who are out there with me, thank you. Thank you for this sport. Thank you for sticking by me as we finish up these last few nights of Big Brother 24. All right. Well, with all that being said, I don't want to be a negative Nancy or anything. We did have some conversations, so we will talk about that. All right. Now, I mentioned that Monte will be making the final decision. We did have some more developments between Monte and Taylor overnight. Not as much last night as the night before, but Monte spent you can't even call it night because they don't even go to bed till 6 or 7 in the morning. Monte spent the early morning with Taylor in the HOH bed yesterday. Although he spent the night in bed with Taylor, but later he told Turner that he actually had dreamed about Amira while he was laying next to Taylor. I think there are people may not be so happy to hear that, but he mentions that. The house guests weren't woken up until, I don't know, 1 o'clock or so. By the time they actually got out of bed, it was 2 o'clock, so half the day is already gone. And even after that, lots of napping, lots of silence throughout the entire afternoon. Now, let's actually talk about the feeds starting up around, I don't know, 6 o'clock or so Central Time, so about 4 o'clock Big Brother time. We've got Monte and Turner sitting around the little table playing cards with each other. Brittany is either sleeping, meditating, self-hypnosis, maybe a little combination of all of them in the Bubbles bedroom by herself. Taylor's up in the HOH room in bed, where she's been ever since she woke up. Just because you wake up doesn't mean you get out of bed. Taylor's been up in the bed eating chips. She's going over her days and events in case there's still a memory component to the final three HOH or final three competition. So she's going over days, events, things like that. Now I thought we were going to have Muffin Gate Part 2 because Turner at one point is complaining to Monte, saying, there were 2 English muffins left, and Brittany ate both of them. Why wouldn't you just eat one and leave the other one behind? So he's complaining about that a little bit. But then Turner also says, but you know what? I'm at the point where someone that I'm kind of irritated with, just anything they do irritates me that much more. And he says, I realize that I'm not going to be that person. I'm not going to get irritated over picky little things. And that's all it is. So, yeah, we almost had to start a Muffin Gate too. We needed something, but no, nothing came of that. Turner's okay with Brittany. Well, he's not okay. Turner won't make a big deal that Brittany ate the last 2 English muffins in the house. All right, eventually Brittany makes it up to the HOH to talk to Taylor. Brittany is still trying to figure out some way to to get Monte to flip and to save Brittany instead of Turner. She even throws out the idea to Taylor, not seriously, but just throwing out scenarios. She throws out the idea of, I even thought about telling Monte that I would help you study and give you all the days wrong, so it'd make sure that he won it and all that. But they realize nothing is really going to work at this point in time. She thinks that the issue is that Monte has just played too safe a game to win. And as part of that, he's more concerned about making it to final two instead of making a big move that gives him a better chance to win the whole competition. He's playing it safe yet again, in her opinion, of doing just the least risky thing possible to get him to the next step, to the final two, even though she thinks it'll absolutely crater his game, that he'll finish second as a result of what he's doing. So again, she thinks Monte's played too safe a game to win. She's comparing Monte's game to Xavier's game from last season, when Xavier at Final Four sent out a big threat in Kyland and kept Big D instead. And she's saying, why wouldn't Monte do the same thing? Send out a big threat in Turner, keep the lesser threat of myself. So she's trying to make the comparison there. The difference is that Xavier didn't think that Azah and Big D last season would take each other to Final Two. And he also pretty much knew that neither one of them was any kind of comp threat whatsoever. So Xavier felt pretty safe regardless of how everything was going to work out. This season, instead, Monte's much more concerned that if he kept Brittany, that she would not take him to the final two. And it's a valid concern. All right. She's again telling Taylor that she'll work with Michael and the girls on jury to vote for Taylor. If she makes it to final two, hopefully she'll make sure that Taylor gets the win. Now, here's the thing that Brittany's not realizing. Other than the jury roundtable discussion, Brittany will have basically zero chance to convince or even talk to the jury. She's not going to the jury house. She's going to be in a sequester spot, removed from everyone else. From basically as soon as the Final Four person goes out the door, from that point on, all the jury members from the roundtable going forward, they're kept separated from one another. There's no more talking after the jury roundtable. So Brittany's not going to have as much control as she thinks over the rest of the jury to make this happen. Brittany's saying that the fourth place person has more control than anyone else because they know more about the game, so they have more influence on the jury. It's just the opposite. Take it from me. The fourth place player has the least effect on the rest of the jury because they don't get a chance to talk to the rest of the jury. So Brittany's thinking she's going to sway it towards Taylor. She's not going to get as much of a chance as she thinks she will. Brittany is helping Taylor try to figure out some arguments to present to the jury with the assumption that Taylor's going to make it to final two. Brittany is again saying how cringy it is to think about all the criticism that Monte is getting from podcasts and Twitter right now over his decision not to save Brittany and to save Turner instead. Brittany is so certain of her position, so certain that everyone is just raking Monte over the coals for what he's doing within the game. I was never, ever that certain about any move that I made during my season. I worried and questioned every single one, good or bad, everything else. But she seems very certain that Monte is getting just crucified out here on social media and such. Well, in some ways he is, but not as much because of gameplay as much as some of relationships and things like that. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, Brittany's pretty certain that everyone's on her side in terms of what should be done this week. All right, Brittany is saying that if the Kyle information hadn't been revealed a few weeks back when it was, that caused Turner then to use a veto, put Kyle up and all that. Brittany's saying if all of that hadn't happened, that Monte would have gone home. She's been pointing out that Monte came so close so many times to heading out the door that he certainly hadn't played this extraordinary game because he was at risk so much. And she's saying even in that case, if that information about Kyle hadn't been revealed, he would have been out the door. Actually, I think if Michael and Brittany had not revealed that information, it wouldn't have been Monte going out the door. It would have been Taylor heading out the door. I think Taylor was the one that was saved by that, not by Monte. But she's thinking it was Monte that was saved. Brittany is talking about how much she does not want to have to cast a vote between Monte and Turner to decide who wins. She's telling Taylor, you have got to make it to the final two. Please don't make me decide between the two of them. All right. I'm predicting a jury question right now that's going to be asked at finale night, asked by Brittany. And I know she's going to ask the question to Monte, assuming he's in final two. which he will be, right? I mean, I think Taylor takes them. I think Turner takes them both. So the question that Brittany is going to want to ask and ask DeMonte is asking Monte, what risk did he ever take in the game that deserved being awarded the title? I think that's what she's going to want to challenge him on come finale night. All right, break away from that a little bit because we got excitement down in the kitchen. Yeah, not so much. Turner's fixing omelets for he and Monte as they talk about teachers in high school, counselors that Monte dealt with in college, being afraid of dogs and how that kind of ties into differences of people in the house and all that. Turner's fiance and her family being huge Big Brother fans watching the live feeds. Turner wondering what they're going to think watching him and the live feeds for all season long. It is weird thinking about your family watching you play that game. It absolutely is. Eventually, we get Turner and Brittany and Taylor in the kitchen with Taylor eating, Brittany cooking something, quesadilla or something. There's almost no talk whatsoever. These people, they're all in their own bubble at this point in time. And then Taylor's back to bed upstairs in the HOH room. Monte is also in bed downstairs, not upstairs with Taylor. So they're both in bed. Taylor starts studying just a little bit, but soon she's sleeping. Monte's sleeping as well. Turner's reading his HOH letters. Brittany's talking to herself or to the cameras in the bubble room again. She's saying that she still believes that she's meant to win Big Brother, but maybe it doesn't have to be this season. She's saying that she also, now this is kind of interesting. She's saying that she might today, she might come clean to Taylor and Turner both. Just saying that, telling them that she actually was the one that tried to vote out Taylor. So if she does that, I'm curious to see how people will respond. She thinks that she wants Taylor to know that she has trust in her. It's not going to matter anyway at this point. So she thinks she'll tell Taylor for that reason. She thinks she'll tell Turner just to kind of fess up. And as a result, hopefully his goodbye message to her won't be quite so bad. But then she says, why do I care anyway? But we'll see. Will she do it? Maybe. We'll find out. So she may come clean about the Taylor vote from last week. She is talking about how much fun it is playing Big Brother, to be actually in the house, that she wants to play it again and again and again. I get it, Brittany, absolutely do. She's also talking about life after Big Brother, going back to her hypnosis practice, getting to talk to Big Brother fans, either through that or through podcasts, and just thinking about going forward and what it's going to be like to be a former house guest in the Big Brother house. We do, as I mentioned, Taylor's still in bed, but now she's using M&Ms to go over days, competitions, etc. So she's trying to study up a little bit. She's doing more to study than Turner or Monte are. She's getting ready for this final three. Turner and Monte, not so much. Finally, Brittany and Monte just accidentally run into each other in the kitchen. So they begin playing cards at the dining room table for hours, 4 or 5 hours. I'm not exaggerating. They sat there forever playing cards. Now, eventually the others showed up. So it wasn't all just the two of them, but they play cards for quite a while. Talking about Brittany saying she plays cards with her husband at home all the time. That's one of their things and all that. Eventually we get Taylor taking a bath while Turner is showering downstairs. After Turner spends a long time in the shower, finally finishes up, dries his hair and everything, he joins the other two at the kitchen table or the dining room table. Turner sitting there watching the two of them playing cards, looking every bit as bored as all of us live feed viewers are as well. And there is zero talk. I mean, zero talk going on between these three. Finally, Taylor joins the group as well. And so they switch over. They start playing a 4-person card game. I think they were playing spades. So they're playing a 4-person card game. Still very little talk happening between this group. We do have Turner and Brittany at one point making up some stories about the house guest on the memory wall, just making up fake background lives for them, connections they had with each other, just the most outrageous of exaggerated stuff that you can imagine. So they do that for a little while. At least they're talking at that point. Eventually, Brittany calls it a night around 5 o'clock or so. Turner just a little bit later. We have one little conversation up in the HOH room. Monte and Taylor are talking. But Monte at one point says, look, I don't want you to take it the wrong way, but I think I'm going to sleep downstairs tonight. I've just kind of been in a funk all day. And I know you were up here studying. I've been downstairs studying. I think I'll just go downstairs tonight. And she says, no, that's good. I'm okay with it. She's saying we don't have to share a bed every single night. And then she mentions as well that she's also okay with nights where they just chill and cuddle as opposed to, I don't know, whatever other stuff they may be talking about. She said it's okay just to cuddle every once in a while. So they're talking about that. They're both backing off just a little bit. Monte talks a little bit about him making sure he needs to have some boundaries to himself and all of that. And so they've kind of just both said, yeah, we're cool. Let's, go downstairs. I'll stay up here, and it's all fine. So they do that. A long hug goodnight. I thought maybe it turned into something a little more passionate. Nah, I didn't. It's just a long hug. Eventually, Monte heads downstairs, gets ready for bed. Both of them, everyone in bed, lights out by about 5:30 or so, and that's it, guys. That's a live feeds for night. What was it, 75, 79? I can't even keep track anymore. Night 76. The big things, I guess, is that Monte still hadn't changed his mind. Brittany still hadn't given up completely, but she sees the writing on the wall. It's about time, and as a result, she may actually spill the beans on last week's vote, which I know is going to make Turner feel much better, knowing at least that Taylor now knows that he's the one, that he was being truthful about all of that. So we'll find out. We'll see what happens this today. If she does tell him, maybe that'll bring up a little drama. We'll find out. Either way, I'll be back tomorrow morning to give you an update on what happened overnight. Tomorrow's eviction night. I'm so ready for it. I'm so ready. We'll be down to our final three. Guys, until then, y'all have a fantastic Wednesday. Survivor and Amazing Race both premiere tonight. I think I'm going to be covering Survivor recaps on that. So watch out for that video to drop. Y'all have a great Wednesday. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow morning. Until then, SKD 143. Cheers, my friends.